Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Institute of Global Professionals. Those who regularly enjoyed our international webinar, I hope you have benefited a little bit through these webinars. We are trying to find the best trainers, speaker, coaches from all over the world are able to present that they are very skilled. Hopefully, it will help everyone a little bit. We hope you are with this initiative and will be in the future. We will evaluate and do something for those who want to learn. If we can help someone with our efforts, that's a lot for us. Our activities will continue if we will get support from yours. The mission of this institute is to empower people from all over the world, especially the job seekers and the job holders, by providing effective training and consultation. We serve students locally, nationally, internationally through our respective campus locations and distance learning formats. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals. People who are joining with us, I'm cordially welcoming you all. We hope that the webinar will help you to enlighten your knowledge in various sectors. We have already completed 47th webinar successfully, and our last webinar was on Discover Yourself. Today we are presenting the webinar 48th on Successful 2021 or Successful 2021. Today's guest speaker, Barbara Hofmeister ma'am. I would like to introduce our guest today. Barbara Hofmeister ma'am, an internationally leading mentor, coach, and trainer for people who are on a mission and want to bring that mission powerfully into the world. She helps them to first of all find themselves and then show them how to become successful in financially as well as emotionally, free doing what they love. Barbara ma'am is also known as a blockage solver. For her, there's no such thing as can't. With her easygoing, infectious manner, and she changes perspectives and helps you to believe in yourself and your dream and to bring it into the world. Not only will you clearly recognize your destiny, but you will finally have the courage to live it free of constraint, because only then will your life truly be an enrichment for everyone. She is a best-selling author, certified as a master life coach, peak performance coach, extraordinary business coach, trainer for NLP, energy healer, and many more. Continuous growth is still a matter she takes seriously even today. She was honored with the Leadership Excellence Award and was chosen as Toastmaster of the Year for all of continental Europe in 2004. She is now financially independent. It really is possible to go from rags to riches. You just have to dare to go your own way, to live your calling. Do you want that too? Today, Barbara will guide us step by step to follow your dream, to live your purpose and become a beacon of light to all those who still live in darkness. Today is your opportunity to discover your destiny and create a plan for a successful, fulfilled, and happy future. Please give a warm welcome to Barbara ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Kaushik. It's so
Hello.
lovely to be here. So I'm really looking forward to the next couple of hours with your people. Thanks for having me. So today we're going to talk about being successful in 2021 and beyond, right? Starting from now, beginning of the year is always a good time to actually make plans. And it's always a good time when we have some strong intentions. And I want to support you in setting your intentions for this coming year and for all the years in the future. So let's get started. Henry Ford once said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are always right. What does he mean with that? He's saying that if you believe you can make something happen, it is true, because you can make anything happen that you want. But if you doubt yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't trust yourself, then it's most probably not going to happen. So that has a lot to do with self-confidence, with self-belief, and we will work on that today too. Because one of the biggest tragedies in the world today is that most people never fulfill their true potential. They never experience the confidence that you need to become really successful. And they don't feel that trust inside of them. So they don't achieve the success they so much crave and they so much deserve. And you might be one of them. So if you have a dream, maybe today I will give you a few steps, or you will discover a few steps that will help you towards that dream. That is my goal for today. So when we get older, as we get older, we tend to have regrets in our life because we didn't live all our dreams. We didn't achieve all our goals. And when we are lying on our deathbed, we regret. And what is interesting is that we don't regret the good things we've done in life. We regret the time we spend away from our loved ones. We regret, one of the biggest regrets, and I will get back to this slide in a second, but the biggest regret that we have, hang on, the biggest regret that we have is this one. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself instead of the life others expected of me. I'm sure you can relate to that because we've all done it. Our parents have expectations of us. Our grandparents have expectations. Our wives or husbands have expectations. The children, your boss, all have expectations of you, and they might not be the same expectations that you have of yourself. And this is why the majority of people, when they get ready to pass on, they have this regret. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself instead of the life others expected of me. So I don't want that to happen to you because that is really painful. At that time, you can't change anything anymore. So my goal for today's workshop is to help you reawaken your dreams. For me, that's always really important to have a dream. Kaushik asked me just before we started how old I am, and I'm 70 years old, but I still have a lot of dreams and a lot of plans for my future. And they drive me, you know, it's what pulls me, it's what keeps me going all the time. And I want to make sure that you have a great dream, something that you really, really want. And we will reawaken that. And I will help you find that certainty, that trust within you to actually start going for your dreams. So we will go back a few slides because I was moving in the wrong direction earlier. Okay, this is the goal for today. And I want you all to promise to work towards that goal. It is for yourself. It's not for me. It is for you. So I want that we make a promise that during the next 2 hours, we work closely together so we can all have an amazing 2021 and beyond. Can you promise that? I want to see yeses in the chat, please. So let me see some yeses in the chat if you're willing to go that way. So just a little housekeeping while you're writing your yeses, hopefully. Number one, make sure you have pen and paper. You want to take notes. Because as you might know, if you know any NLP, we filter a lot of information because we get too much information and we filter it out. And I'm going to speak for an hour and a half to 2 hours today. And I will use a lot of words, and some of them you will forget, which is quite natural. And that's why it's important that you write down what you find important for yourself. Okay? So pen and paper. If you don't have it yet, then please go and get it. If you have any questions about what I'm teaching and you have a question in that moment that concerns that particular topic, then ask the question and Kaushik is going to let me know so I can answer it. Otherwise, general questions about reaching goals, about what you can do, the first few steps and that kind of thing, I will answer at the end of the training. Okay? So, and yeah, if you are okay with that, then towards the end, I will give you a gift. So if you're staying till the end, you're going to get a gift. Okay? So if you have pen and paper and you're ready to go, then put a 1 in the chat box, please. And maybe Kaushik can tell me if any ones are coming and if any yeses are in there so that I know what's going on. Yeah, that was a question I started with. If you were to take your final breath tomorrow, how would you feel about your life? Would you be happy? Or would you be sad? Would you have a lot of regrets of things you haven't done? Or things you've done too much? Like a lot of people in that situation, they say, I wish I hadn't worked so much. I wish I'd spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I'd lived my life. And that's the biggest one, and that's the one I want to make sure today that you can do that. Live your own life. So please, let us know in the chat from 1 to 10. 1 is horrible life to 10 perfect life. How happy are you with your life right this moment? How happy are you with your life this moment? 1 to 10. And Kaushik, if you're there, then maybe you can give me some numbers so I know what's going on and I know where people are. That would be really helpful. Thank you. So one of the many books that I've read, and I think you can see a few books in the background here, but I have many, many shelves more. One of them was the book 5 Regrets of the Dying. It's on Amazon, and I don't know where you are, in which country, but if you have access to a good bookstore, then have a look at this book. It's really, really interesting because it's not about when you die. It is about how you live. It's very positive. And understanding what people regret when they get ready to depart makes helps me, for instance, but has helped a lot of people. That's why it's a bestseller. It helps you understand what you might be doing wrong in your life and what you can improve. So have a look if you might want to get this book. Koshik, did you check it out? Did you check out the chat to see what people are saying and where they are in their life?
Yes, ma'am. I saw that it's 10, 9, 7, 6, 10, 10, 7.
Excellent. Quite a few tens. That's pretty rare. So you are the lucky ones. Well, that's great. Oh my God. Ugh. Okay, I will just make them wait. Someone at my door. And probably my dog is going to go crazy now. Anyway, I'm showing you this picture from the Berlin Wall because I was born behind the Berlin Wall and in former communist Germany. And I can tell you that life was really great for me as a little girl there. My mom was at home. We had our own house. Uh, my dad was an entrepreneur. My dad was always busy and always had new ideas of new business and better business. And yeah, my mom was at home. My best friend Christine lived next door, and I had this beautiful German Shepherd. Well, I mean, remember, I'm 70 years old, so I was 7 there. So the photo is more than 60 years old. That's why the quality is not so good. But I had this beautiful German Shepherd dog called Caro, and he went with me everywhere. He was my best friend. But my parents were not happy in communist Germany. My father especially, because there was a wall, right? There was, I mean, you were restricted. And the communist system did not like entrepreneurs, so they gave him quite a hard time. And so one day, my mom told me, Barbara, we're going on a holiday camp. And I was super excited, right? I'd never been in a holiday camp. I was 8 years old. And off we went, super excited little Barbara with her mom. And my dad, he'd been gone for a couple of days. I hadn't seen him for a couple of days. And I was wondering, if we're doing something exciting like going on holiday, why is my grandma crying? Why is my mom crying? It was really strange. Well, anyway, off little Barbara went, very happy. And the next thing I knew was that we were in West Berlin and my dad was there. And I couldn't believe it. You know, I remember that I was pulling on my mom's hand and I said to her, what's dad doing here? You see, my dad was a workaholic. It wasn't too much fun most of the time with him. So I didn't want him in a holiday camp with me. Yeah, sorry, Dad, but and my dad told me that we are now in the free West, that we are now free. Well, I was pretty free in our little village in communist Germany. I could roam the countryside with my dogs. I had my best friends in the village. I knew everybody. So I wasn't sure about my parents' ideas. Anyway, the next thing I knew was we ended up in a big city, and I'm a country girl. We ended up in a big city in West Germany. And for the next 5 years, we lived in this horrible little attic room. I slept, as you can see from the picture, I slept right next to that old fridge. I don't know if you've ever heard a fridge like that. It makes this hiccup noise, you know, when it restarts or when it switches off. And I was sleeping right next door to it. And I mean, you can see we had a little table, we had that old fridge, we had an old sofa that I slept on, and my parents had an old bed in the other corner. And that was about it. My parents didn't mind so much because they were out working all day. But I was all by myself. And I was a very unhappy little bunny. So I learned at a very young age that freedom is not free. You have to pay a price. And the same goes for financial freedom. You have to pay a price. And that price is commit to your idea, commit to your life, commit to your success. I wasn't committed as an 8-year-old. I wanted my grandma back. I wanted my best friends back. I wanted my dog back. I wanted to be in the country again. I didn't want to live in a big city where I knew nobody. I didn't want to live in this horrible little room. While at home, I had my own room was bigger than this one. But I wasn't asked. And I'm sure that some of you know hardships like that. Some of you know moments when you have nothing but the clothes on your back, when you need to move maybe from the tranquil countryside into big city to get work. And I remember that I went from a very happy little kid to a very unhappy child, very unhappy, very angry also, sad, angry with my dad because he made this move and I didn't understand why we made that move, right? But one thing happened. I swore to myself that never again in my whole life is another person going to make such life-changing decisions for me ever again. At the ripe age of 8. I can laugh about it, but I still live by this value. For me, freedom and independence are my most important values. And now we're going to check yours. So, what happened in your life that totally changed how you think? Because when we were living in communist Germany in our village, I had everything. I was a happy little bunny. I didn't make big decisions, right? I was a small child. But because of this drastic change, of this big thing that happened, I made a decision. And I'm sticking to that. Until today, it's my top value, freedom and independence. So what happened in your life that totally changed how you think? Put it in, not what happened, but maybe the decision you made. What changed for you? Put that in the chat. Because I really want to hear. I can't see, I can only see my screen. I can't hear you, I can't see you, I can't even see the chat, unfortunately. So Kaushik, once they start writing, please share some with me because it's a bit lonely here on the other side. Yeah, due to what happened to me at that age, at that young age, freedom and independence became the guide for all I do in my life. Something that I decided 62 years ago still guides me today. So what are your top values? What is your guiding light? Are you aware of them? I wasn't for a long time. I felt that I needed to be free, that I needed to be independent. But I didn't know that was a life value. But I had this strong urge to be my own master. Very strong urge, right? That's why, probably why I never got married. Every time my boyfriends, I mean, over the many years, right, uh, wanted to get married, I took flight. Yeah, they weren't happy. But so let's see what is really important to you. And I want you to write down the first three things that come to your head without thinking, without consciously thinking about it. What comes to mind? What's important to you? And share that in the chat. There's no right or wrong here. It's just every one of us is different. So, Koshi, can you share some of the things that are in the chat, please? Seems that he's not here. I can tell you the difference. Why this knowing your values is super, super important. Let me share how it changes people's perspective depending on what values they have. I told my best friend, Frank, recently over Christmas, we've met, and I told him how much the restrictions that we have at the moment due to the COVID crisis, how much that's bothering me. I mean, I feel like this, right? And we can still go out and we can, buy food and absolutely necessary things. But apart from that, we are in total lockdown. And it makes me feel really, really restricted. And I told him that, uh, I feel so uncomfortable and I can't travel and I can't do what I normally do and speak on stages and, in different countries. Well, anyway, he said to me, "You're crazy, Barbara. You've got a really comfortable home. You've got some friends around that you can talk to or that you can meet once in a while. And why, how can you feel uncomfortable?" And I asked him, "How can you not feel uncomfortable? They've taken all our rights away, right? Under the new virus infection law." So, and he said to me, "Barbara, for me, the most important thing is that I and my family are safe. And here we are safe." And we discussed this in length because it was a totally different perspective to mine, right? I don't feel safe. I just feel locked in. But for him, his top two values are security and family. So for him, this situation is fine. For me, freedom and independence, horrible situation. So what are your top values? Which values, you have a long list here, which values are most important to you? And I would love you to write them down for yourself, but also share them in the chat. And Koshik, if you're here, then I would love to hear what's going on in the chat. Koshik?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. What's going on in the chat? What are people saying?
I love my family, being honest, Hello from Romania.
Hello back to Romania.
Stability for my loved ones,
Uh-huh.
family. Try to best in 2021. I'm uncomfortable if I have problems. Love and trust. Can't see a small front. I love my family. Love for my family. Love and faithfulness. Obedience. Love. Family. Love.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you. Go through, really everybody, read through the value screen uh, and become a little more, differentiate a little bit more what it is that is important to you. You see, some people, they are adventurous or they're courageous. I will give you a couple of examples. Should be the next slide, hopefully. There it is. This is one example of a famous person, Sir Richard Branson, and his values are adventure, freedom, success. He's very committed to his success, or at least he was when he was young, but he's still working. He's exactly my age, but freedom for him is important, and adventure is important. He's a very courageous person. So, and another one is Elon Musk. For him, is achievement. Achievement is huge for him. He started PayPal, he started Tesla, he started SpaceX, and a lot of other companies. And he's relentless. He works until it works. This guy, even today, he's a multi-billionaire. But still today, he works up to 100 hours per week. That man is relentless because he has a clear picture of his future and he really wants to make that come true. And he's willing to do whatever it takes. It's not about money. It is about the love of the vision that they have for their future, of the results they want to create. And that's why knowing your values is so important, because they drive you. They drive you in life. Like I said, for my friend, security and family is the most important. So he makes sure that that little nucleus is intact, that is working. He doesn't need to travel. He doesn't need to build several companies. He wants to have, he's a businessman, quite successful, but he's not pushing to get huge. He's just enough to be secure, right? That's his thing, which is great. So he's doing what he's meant to be doing. So what are you meant to be doing? What values drive you? If you've never thought about values, oh, okay. If you've never thought about values, then this might be new to you. But I promise you, if you get into this a little bit, you will understand yourself much, much better. And you will understand what drives you in one direction and not in the other. Because a lot of people, they have ideas, right? They want to start a business. And they are starting to walk there. but it's taking them away from their family. Because especially in the beginning, you need to work really hard to get some results. And it means that you can't spend as much time at home. You can't spend as much time with your loved ones. And if that is your top value, family, like it is for a lot of you, then it's going to be a constant conflict. And if you don't understand why that conflict is there, you're most likely not going to achieve what you set out to achieve. So knowing your values is vital, right? But what I want to share now, and what is top secret, is the three secrets to success. Oops. So let's see. The first secret is to be crystal clear what it is that you want. When I said successful 2021, it is being successful with your loved ones, with your friends and the people around you, but also being successful in your work, in your workplace, or in your business. And maybe you want to start a business this year. If it's an online business, I recommend that, because in many countries there is a lockdown and a lot of people are online these days. So online businesses are thriving at the moment. But I don't want to send you in any direction, because it has to be your dream. It has to be your vision of your future, not mine. But you have to be, to be successful in any area of life, you got to be crystal clear what you want. And I can tell you that about 95% of people do not have a clear idea of what they want. I can tell you that number because I've spoken in the last 25 years, since 1994, 26 years now. And since 1994, I've been speaking worldwide in a lot of different countries, in a lot of different cultures. And I usually ask this question: what is it that you want? Who here has a dream? All hands go up. And then I ask, who knows what that dream is going to look like when it's done, right? When you've reached it? Well, about half of the hands are still up. And then I ask a few more precise questions to drill down into what it really is. Is it a business? Is it a job? Is it a special occasion where you want to be? Is it a special house that you want to have, or whatever it might be? What is the dream? Is it a special person that you want to be with? What is the dream? And people come up with vague things like, I want to have more time. I want to have more money. I want to have more happiness. By the way, happiness is a decision you make. You can be happy like this. Just make a decision that this is the greatest moment of your life. You're alive, right? You got a roof over your head. You must have an internet connection if you're listening. So a lot of the basic needs are met. So you can decide to be happy, right? More happiness. But the one thing that comes up most often, because you can, well, everybody can imagine it very easily, is more money. And I usually, oops, that's not supposed to come now. Oh, I made something wrong. I usually have a $1 bill, or depending on which country, here in Europe, it's €5. That is the smallest bill. And I take this bill and I ask somebody, well, before I take the bill, actually, I ask somebody who said that they want more money. I ask them to come on stage so I can help them. And they come on stage and I hand them this $1 bill or the €5 note. And I tell them, okay, your wish is fulfilled now, you can go home. And they look at me and they say, what? What's wrong with her? $1 is not going to do it. But this is what he wished for. This is what he said. He wants more money. And $1 more is more money, right? But what he wants is this, or maybe even more. Not just a little bill, not just a little bit. But if you don't quantify it, if you don't say very clearly, this is what I want, not a heap of money. Money is never ever the big dream, right? Never ever. So let's put the money aside. It is what money can buy you. It's the freedom you have with it. It's the comfort you have with it. That is why people want more money. The things you can buy, but things don't make you happy. Happiness comes from within. But when you fulfill your dreams, then happiness is much easier. And I can tell you, I've been poor and I've been rich. And it's more fun, it makes life much easier to have money. But be crystal clear what it is you want. So write down, what do you want? If you go deep inside of yourself and just imagine you could have anything you wanted, anything. You could be anything. You could have, and you could become whatever you wanted. What would it be? Doesn't have to be realistic. Well, obviously, if you're 70 years old, like myself, you would not, I wouldn't say I want to be the world's best tennis player, because it's not going to happen at that age, right? It's just not going to happen. But whatever you can dream, you can achieve. So, have you written down your dream, hopefully? Number 2, second secret, is believe that you can achieve it. This is where most women fail. We don't have strong confidence. We don't believe in ourselves in most cases. There are exceptions, of course, like in everything. But if I have a dream, my dream has always been to travel the world, and I've done that. I've done that many times over. And then my dream was to speak on large stages, and I've done that in 17 or 18 countries around the world. And it was the best time of my life. I love it. Here, I find this a little bit difficult, because I can't see you, I can't feel you, I can't even see what's happening in the chat. So I might be, it feels like I'm talking to myself, which is not so much fun. But I know for a fact that you can only achieve what you believe you can. You can only get as far as your confidence lets you in life. When I was a young woman, I was not confident. I was not confident. And I remember that at age 28, my friend Christine, she gave me a book by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Let me show it to you. Oops. Your Erroneous Zones. It was Dr. Dyer's first book. And you can see how tattered it is. It became my Bible, but at first I hated it because in the back here it says, "What's wrong with you?" Can you see it up here? And oh my God, I didn't like that very much. I didn't like that. Why would my friend give me a book that's asking what's wrong with you? There was nothing wrong with me in my perception, but there were a lot of things wrong with me. And, first I put it on the shelf and I didn't read it for several months. But one day I had nothing else to read and I picked it up. And if you look inside, there's loads of remarks and loads of underlining. This became my Bible. I had so many erroneous zones, and I definitely didn't believe in myself very much. I pretended to, yes, but it was not true. And I lost a lot of opportunities because of that, because I did not believe that I could achieve much when I was young. How about you? Do you believe that you can achieve your dreams? I know you can, but do you believe it? Yeah, put a yes or no or maybe into the chat box. Okay, and now to the third secret. But this one is not so much of a secret because obviously when you want to achieve something big, you need to take massive action to make sure you get it. Like Elon Musk is working even now that he's a billionaire many times over. He's working many, many hours because he wants to go to Mars. That's his big dream, and that is his driver. And all the things he comes up with on the road there is just, yeah, it's just happened. It happens because he sees a need. But it's not his main focus. He's going to Mars. Yeah, interesting personality. Okay. So let's quickly sum up what you have learned so far. You've learned about the regrets most people have when they get older and maybe too old to do anything about it. And you've also learned how to avoid them. You've learned that our values, our life values, are our drivers in life. They drive everything that you do every single day. Once you become aware of what your drivers are, you will notice that in your daily life. And I've just given you the 3 secrets to success. So I want you to do a little exercise now. And that is share in the chat what you've learned so far. And remember, sharing is caring. Because everyone will probably have learned something different. And I am really interested what stuck so far. Okay, I'm taking a little tiny break of 1 minute. 1 minute while you are sharing. Oops. Okay, I'm back. Kaushik, can you share a little bit of what our people are saying?
And people are too much engageable in comment section, like always be firm and positive towards achieving goal and dream. I have learned so far that happiness is not an object, it's a state of mind where you decide on when you can be in content. I have learned to value time, enthusiasm, self-discipline, and trust in yourself that you can do what you wanna be life. About the values as drivers of our life in order become successful, believe in myself and work hard to achieve a defined goal. Lots of comments here.
Excellent, wonderful. Well, I'm going to read them later on because now I can't, but later on I'm going to read all of them. And yeah, excellent. Are there any questions so far? Okay.
No,
I yeah.
no, ma'am, no.
Okay. Good. So let's now go and develop that clear vision of your future. Because I hope that you've learned. I mean, from your comments, I can see that you've already learned a lot. But now I want to set the goals for 2021 and beyond. And as I told you before, you need clarity, right, around what you want. And that's what we're going to do now. So, pen and paper at the ready, because we are going to go look at your genius zone. What's your genius zone? Well, it's the one thing all of us have, at least one thing that we're really good at, really good. And it's not the same for everybody, right? Everybody has a different skill, a different ability, a different strength that they can shine with, because that is their strength. That's their genius zone. It's the one thing that you love above all else. And that's why you're so good at it. So, what is your genius zone? And make notes for yourself, and of course share it, because I'm going to read it later and I want to see, and I will comment on your comments when I see them later on. So I would love to hear what your genius zone is, the one thing that you love above all else and that you're really good at. My one thing is training, but not training like I'm talking to my computer now, right? Training from stage, because then I'm in the same room with the people. I can feel their energy. I can feel what they need and I can give it to them. While, like I said, here I'm talking to my computer, so it's a bit weird. It's definitely not the same. But for me, that is the best thing in the world, to walk up on a stage in front of a full room and yeah, give them what they need. That is when I see the sparkle go back on into their eyes, when I see the smiles and the excitement and the revelations, the light bulbs that are going off. Wow, for me, that is the best thing in the world. That's what I really love and what I'm really good at. What is your genius zone? And then share it with us. Now that you are aware of your genius zone, because our genius zone is something that we know anyway, but because it's easy for us and we're good at it, we don't normally think that it's a big thing. We don't believe that our genius zone, the one thing that we love above all else, is something special. But I can tell you that it is. It's something very special. Plus the uniqueness that you have inside of you, because every one of us is different. Everyone has a different personality, and that's one of the gifts I'm going to give you later. Our personality combined with that one skill, that one thing that we love, with our genius zone, that makes us unique. That makes us different to everybody else. Not better or worse, just different, just unique. And this is where you can let your light shine. So what's your genius zone? Share it. I can't wait to see all the comments. And what ideas do you have for your future? How can you use that genius zone, that one thing that you love and that you're really good at? How can you use that for a better future, for a more successful future, for an emotionally and financially more rewarding future? I want you, when we're doing this exercise, this is for you, right? I want you to just write down whatever comes into your mind when I'm asking the question. Just, drop it out of your mind onto a piece of paper or into the chat. Because that comes from your subconscious, and that is what is your truth. Not that you sit down and you think, yeah, I'm not bad at bookkeeping. Actually, I'm quite good at it. Yeah, you can make good money as a bookkeeper, but unless you love it, love it, love it, you're never going to become really good at it. And you're never going to jump out of bed in the morning really excited because you know that you're going to do what you love more than anything else. That's why you don't need your brain at the moment so much. You need more your intuition, your emotion. What comes up when I ask this stuff? And just write that down. Dump it on your piece of paper and in the chat. What ideas do you have for your future? How can you use your genius, the one thing that you love, in the future? Maybe make a business out of it. Maybe make a bigger hobby out of it, or whatever. And of course, in everything, there is a pro and a contra, right? There is the good and the bad. And when we get big ideas, like, oh my God, I had the idea, I want to speak in front of a stadium full of people. Hasn't happened yet, but who knows? Maybe I get invited to China to speak, and for them it's easy to fill 100,000 people in a stadium. So who knows? If you know anybody there, pass on my name, please. What's the one big thing when you think of something so huge? What's the one big thing that's holding you back right now? What do you think? I mean, sometimes we don't even know what's holding us back. What's the one big thing that's holding you back right now? What do you think it is? If you say lack of money, yeah, it's possible, but there's always ways around it. Money is hardly ever the issue. There's ways to make money, and there's always free ways, especially today we have the internet. There's a ton of, thousands of possibilities how we can share ourselves, how we can share our knowledge with the world and actually make some money out of it. But what's the one big thing that's holding you back right now? And Kaushik, if you're there, I would love to hear what is holding people back. So that would be, it's probably millions of different things, small and big, but I would like to know the one big thing, the big stumbling block that each time you go one step forward and bam, and tuk, 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 bloody nose, let's go back. Maybe I wanted too much. No, you did not want too much. Maybe you just went about it the wrong way. So, Kaushik, if there is anything in the chat, please let me know.
Ma'am, I just sent you a link of our live session. Then you can check it from your messenger.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
click on the link. Then you can check. You can see every comments of our participants.
yeah. I look forward to that. I will definitely do that later. But now, what is
For,
holding people back? Do you have anything?
I told it for now. I told it for now. Just click on the link which I sent to in your messenger. Just click.
Ah,
Then it will
on my
it will open. Yeah.
phone. Okay. That was the click I just heard. Oh, let's see what that says. Come on. Okay, I can't see anything. Oh my God, so many comments. Okay, I can't see anything. Now I can hear myself. Negative self-talk. Oh my God, so many comments.
Just
Wow.
ma'am, just unmute yourself from your mobile or decrease your volume. Then you can share. You can see the comments from your mobile.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, too many anyway to say now. But the one thing that I saw immediately when I opened it was negative self-talk. Ah, that's a huge one for I would say for most people. Negative self-talk. I call it that little devil on my shoulder. You know, that little whoever person that whispers in your ear that you're not good enough, that you don't know enough, that you don't have enough, that you can't be enough, and blah, blah, blah. You know, all these lies, because it's not true. It's not true. And what I do, because one of the main objectives of my work is to make you aware that all this stuff is going on inside of us. Subconsciously, we don't really know. We're not consciously aware. But when I become aware, and that is very frequently, that my little devil is talking to me, I always pretend he's sitting on my on my shoulder here, and then I say thank you, but no thank you. If I don't like what my inner voice is telling me, or I just literally snip, I call it him, right? He is the devil, my little devil, and I snip him off my shoulder. Because negative self-talk, it just, your subconscious is programmed to protect you, is programmed to keep you safe. That is from a long time ago, starting from the cavemen, thousands of years ago, right? Because they only had two options. They were they they were always in danger. So they could fight or they could flee. So it was fight or flight. That was their only option. And when there is a huge saber-toothed tiger in front of you, I would definitely, yeah, I would definitely listen to my subconscious say, hey, get out of there as fast as you can, right? But today things are different. We don't have huge saber-toothed tigers or dinosaurs or whatever anymore. We have other dangers, obviously, but negative self-talk is just happening here. And I can tell you, success or failure happens between your two ears. It has nothing to do with the environment. It's just happening here. This little thing here is what helps us or stops us. And you don't want to stop yourself just because that little voice says you are not enough. You can always learn as you go along. You can always learn more. I'm 70 years old now. I started learning about personal growth, personal development, psychology, human psychology, and the likes in 1978 when my friend gave me this book. And I haven't stopped since. That's now 43 years. I haven't stopped and I continue. I always buy courses. I always go to seminars and workshops. Why? Well, I love the topic, obviously, but there's always more to learn. And I don't care if the speaker is young or old. Doesn't matter. Young people have amazing ideas that I would never have had, right? So if negative self-talk is holding you back, and I can tell you that this is what is holding the majority of us back, to live much bigger. That is our internal dialogue. And I suggest that you become aware of what that internal dialogue is saying. If you're constantly worried, you're going to damage your health. You're not going to get much done. And you are not going to be a very happy bunny. Because worry puts you down. I had a doctor's appointment early in the morning today. And I forgot a piece of paper. So I went there, they did their thing, and then I had to bring them a paper. And so I run back home and I picked up my dog because he needs to, go for a little walk. So I thought, okay, I'm taking him and I just leave him downstairs for a minute while I take up the paper. And they told me, well, the doctor wants to see you. And I'm like, oh, I got my dog here. And they said, well, it's only going to take a minute. Well, 40 minutes later, I was sitting there and I was so worried that my poor little dog was sitting out there in the snow, freezing his little butt off. I was seriously worried and I was seriously feeling bad. So in the end, I got up and I told the lady at the reception, I said, I'm sorry, but there is no way I can wait any longer. And I went out and the little baby was sitting there like that and he was so happy to see me and I was so happy that, he was okay. It's freezing here. We have quite a bit of snow at the moment. Anyway, worry. Normally when I go to the doctor's office, I know I need to bring time because they never, there's a lot of people. And today I didn't expect it. And that's why I got worried. I was aware of it, so it didn't so freak me out, but still, I felt not so good. That's why I changed the situation. I left, and now I need to go back tomorrow. Okay, so you've come up with a lot of one things that are holding you back, and I will check that in the chat later on after we're finished tonight. And now, when you can put aside that one big thing that's been holding you back, what will success look like for you in 12 months from now? Next year, beginning of January of 2022, in your wildest dreams, if your wildest dreams came true, what would success look like? If we were talking on the 5th of January 2022, and you would be all excited because you can tell me your success story, what would that be like? Write it down, whatever comes to mind. What would your life look like? Oh, you should do that. I mean, do it now, but because we don't have that much time, go into this exercise again later on. I mean, really go into it, because when you imagine what your life could look like in the future, once you've achieved your dreams, I'm telling you, I do this on a regular basis, and I get all nice and warm and fuzzy feeling in my tummy. And I can feel it. And it's like, oh my God. And this is when you're willing to do the work, because you know why you're doing it. Because you know why you're doing it. And that is the next thing we want to talk about. Your big why. Why do you want to be successful? Why? Why do you want to do something different, maybe? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why do you come to a workshop like this? What's your big why? Jim Rohn, one of my mentors, he always used to say, if the why is strong enough, the how becomes easy. If the why is strong enough, the how becomes easy. And that is true. When you know where you're going and you know why you're going there, and you believe that you can reach it, it becomes easy. You just do it step by step. We will get to that in a minute. So let's see. Yeah. So what is your big why? You see, to define your why, you've got to get really, really personal, because this is about you as a human. You see, people ask me, normally I coach quite a lot of entrepreneurs and other coaches also, and they ask me always, how do I get there? How? That is the wrong question. Don't ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, what do I want? What is the big dream, the big achievement? And why do I want that particular achievement? Why do I want that particular result? That's what the why is about. Why do I want it? Because all big results need a big amount of work, right? They have many steps, and we will get to that in a minute. But without the why, without a reason to get up, without a reason to work, without a reason to do whatever you need to do to fulfill your dreams, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And that's why the why is so big. The why is all important. If the why is strong enough, the how becomes easy. The how is the last thing you should ask yourself. Not how can I get there? No, that's not important now. What is there? Define there the end result you want. And why do you want that? Moving on. Oops. Yeah, I want you to make a decision now. Now. I love tigers. Oh, love tigers. This is my animal, my power animal. And here it says, I will win. Not immediately, but definitely. That's a decision, right? That is yes. I'm going to do it. No matter what, I'm going to do it. I will win this game called life. So I love doing this stuff. So I will win. Not immediately. It doesn't happen overnight. There's no magic pill. And don't believe anybody that's telling you there is. There is not. Unless you can throw a lot of money at it, right? But there is no magic pill. So can you make a commitment to yourself now? If you're willing to make a commitment to yourself, then put a yes in the chat box. I will check it later. I will win. Not immediately, but definitely. I will win. I love it. Okay. And now we're getting to the goals. So what this is the vision. You know, you need clarity in your vision. What is it that you want? That is the big picture, the big end result. We talked about that. And now you need to break it down, because when you have a long way in front of you, let's say you want to climb Mount Everest. It's a huge mountain. It's the highest mountain on the planet, as far as I know. And to climb it, you need a lot of preparation, months of preparation, physically, mentally, and of course, materially also. And you can't just travel to Nepal and then start climbing. You're going to die. It's not going to happen. You go from one base camp, acclimatize, get used to the climate, go to the next, go to the next. It takes a long time to get up there. And many, many people that are going to the last base camp, they're not making it to the top because they're not fit enough, because the weather is not what it's supposed to be, and so on, right? But the only way that you can get up there at all is by breaking it down. You see the top of the mountain, right? You see it in front of your eyes. This is where I want to go. I see a painting of a mountain here in front of me that I've done. And you see the top of the mountain. That's the goal, the big picture, the vision. You up there. And then you need to break it down. You need to go backwards from your big dream. You go backwards to today. And you write down the different steps. And obviously, if the highest, the big goal is the top of Mount Everest, then the first few steps will be huge, right? Because you have no idea yet how it's going to happen. So going backwards, the closer you come to today, the more details and steps need to become. And if something looks overpowering, feels overpowering, too much, I can't do it, break it down. Break it down into small steps. Break it down. Where am I here on my... Okay. Break it down. Dream big. Set goals. And if the goal is too big, break it down into little steps. The Americans always say how to eat an elephant. One bite at a time. And this is how you can reach the biggest dream. One small step at a time. Okay? Tum, tum, tum. So now I want you to write down at least 20 goals. Small, big, medium, doesn't matter. Whatever comes to mind. Do this really fast. I will give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Because we are running out of time. 2 minutes. At least 20. If you can manage 50 or 100, even better.
Just unmute yourself.
Okay. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? I was just reading your comments here, or some of your comments. Really amazing stuff. What would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? One of the blocks that I read in there, what is stopping you, is fear of failure. Well, whoever said that, fear of failure is quite normal. However, You can only learn from your failures. That's the way we learn. We need to make mistakes so that we can learn from them. I've just learned that I need to use my mobile on top of my computer so that I can actually see what you're writing, right? For me, that was new. So I learned something. And yes, I make mistakes. We all do. And that's a good thing. The faster you fail, the faster you succeed, right? It's not nice to fail. I know that. But if you allow the fear of failure to stop you, nothing much is going to happen, right? Because there's always that option. There's always that option. So what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? You couldn't fail. This is just a rhetoric question because you can always fail, right? We're quite good at failing. But as long as you learn from your mistakes and do it better the next time, all is well. Nobody has gone a long way without making mistakes. I remember, oh yeah, that was really funny. You might still be able to find that somewhere on YouTube. An interview with Richard Branson, and they complimented him on all the companies that he's founded, over 500 companies with the name of Virgin. And they said, haven't you ever had any failures? And he laughed and he said, yeah, I have. We had a condom factory. We started a condom company that was called Virgin Condoms. Well, I hope you get the joke here. Virgin Condoms, yep. So he was laughing about that because no surprise that that brand did not work so well for the product they had. But it's the way you learn. You learn, you made a mistake. Maybe you didn't think about it. But anyway, he moved on, he accepted it. Won't work. So what would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? Now you can really dream. All right. Reaching goals. To reach goals, you've got to be emotionally involved. This is not only done by pure force of willpower. Reaching big goals, you need to focus on the goal, but also how you feel about it, how you feel about the path you're taking now. If you don't feel good, make sure that you look into that. Make sure that that you find out what is bothering you. When you're on the right path, you feel good about it. You love it. And when there's a setback, yeah, it sucks, but then you move on again, you get past it. Take it off. Take the lesson from whatever happened that didn't work and move on. Next step. Next step. And be beware of the excuses, of the good reasons why you can't do it now, of the good reasons why what you wanted to do is not a good idea. I call them the reasons, I call them excuses, because with excuses, you are the victim. You are not in power. You're taking your own power away. To get good results, you need to be in power. Okay? So keep that in mind. Okay. We have two different sets of goals. One is outcome based, so that is, I want to achieve this by doing that, right? So this is exactly the results. I want to make 1,000 more than I'm making now, or whatever it might be. That is the immediate next goal. And that is outcome based. Once I have reached that, you can quantify it, and okay, now you know you reached that goal. However, it doesn't motivate us as much as our emotional based goals, behavior based goals we call them. But most people are making outcome based goals. So this is the end result I want. That's my goal. Let's move towards it. And that makes it hard when there's some, some difficult parts on the way. It makes it hard on yourself. So try using behavioral based goals. Okay, if you are sitting like this, staring at your screen, nothing much is going to happen, right? It's a process. Reaching your dreams is a process, or making your dreams come true is a process of emotional achievement and physical, and you need to work obviously, but it's a lot of emotion involved, and this is why the reason why you're doing it needs to be really clear to you. Okay. Okay, having the right mindset is just as important as working hard. I've talked about that in length already during the last hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. So the real key to success is combining the emotional, the behavior-based goals. What I mean with emotional or behavior-based, you change your behavior to get better, different results to before, right? Einstein said, you always do the same, you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. And he says that's a different definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? And it will not work. You can, if you're doing the wrong thing for the result that you want, you can do it 100 times over. You're not going to get what you want, right? So when you combine outcome-based goals, the ones that you can quantify, that are very clear, when I reach this stage, I have achieved that goal. Or behavior. Behavior, for instance, let's say you love eating sweet stuff. And wherever you see it, I have some here on my desk. Christmas cookies, home baked. And whenever I'm not feeling on top of my game, I have a little cookie. But I don't overeat. I think you can see that. But some people do. They're frustrated, they're not happy, and they overeat and they eat the wrong stuff. And then they start to gain weight, they feel uncomfortable, they need to buy new clothes, and they don't look maybe as pretty as they did before, and so on and so on. It's like a negative spiral that we can get ourselves into. And when you change that behavior to something that is healthier, like eating a carrot or celery or whatever you enjoy, that is nice, but doesn't have as many calories and isn't as unhealthy. So your behavior changes, and then it's much easier to reach your old health. It's much easier to reach that goal that you want to reach. You know what I mean? I hope I explained that. I hope I explained that properly. It's a combination of both behavior-based and outcome-based goals that work best. And always, your goal needs to mean something to you, nobody else. Unless you are working with a team and you're setting a team goal, then of course it needs to mean something for everybody. Otherwise, some of your team is not going to work with you. They're not going to work towards it. So most important is to have goals that mean something to you and they take you in the right direction. Les Brown, the wonderful speaker Les Brown, I love him. He says you don't need to see the whole staircase to get going, to get started. That's one of the mistakes that people make. They want to know exactly how can I get there? And then they don't have all the answers. And then they say, oh, I will never make it. I don't know how to get there. So it doesn't make any sense that I start. And that is a lie that you're telling yourself. It's an excuse you're telling yourself, right? If you start on this staircase because you know that up there, the end of the staircase is what you want, you just start climbing. I have a card on my desk here. Don't know if you can see it. It says, follow your dreams. Take one step at a time. Don't settle for less. Just continue to climb. And here is this climbing stairs. It's been on my desk for years. And you just keep going. You trust, you believe that you're ending up in the right place. I'm excited. We're coming to questions now. That is wonderful. So, if you follow the advice I just gave you today and take action in the right direction, then I promise you we can speak next year in January and you will have lots of great, wonderful success stories to tell me. And that's what I wish for you. I want you to be successful. I want you to be happy. I want you to feel fulfilled. And somebody said that I trust in God. Yeah, please do. Fantastic. However, if you don't take action, do not expect him to do it for you. He won't. That is emotional support. Faith is wonderful. Faith, whatever religion you believe in, is of great help. But faith in yourself is also needed. And you need to take the steps. It's not going to happen by itself. Okay, that was my presentation for today. And now I hope that Kaushik has some juicy questions for me. Kaushik, what's happening in our chat? Oh, I lost it. Oh, shoot.
Please stop share your slide, then you can see the question on your screen.
Okay, let's see how we do that.
Stop share.
Uh-huh.
No. Yeah.
Okay, Suresh, how to overcome your subconscious program. That is quite hard work. one of the things, I mean, number one, you already have an advantage because you are aware that your subconscious is not supporting you in many cases. And like I said earlier, our subconscious, all that is doing is trying to protect us from going into danger. When we want to try something new, something different, it will always scream and shout and say, oh, don't do it, because something new could be something dangerous. And you can train it by doing it in spite of that screaming and shouting, right? In spite, move in spite of fear, move in spite of worry, move in spite of that little devil that tells you not to do it. And I don't mean do anything crazy, that puts your family into danger or anything like that. But first of all, become aware of that inner chatter. And you can stop that inner chatter by meditating, for instance, or doing yoga, reflecting on what's going on in your life, right? So I hope that answered your question. It's not something that happens overnight. It is something that takes time. We need to train our subconscious because it's programmed to automatically protect us, even when no protection is necessary. Okay. What is emotional goals? An emotional goal could be anything that creates strong emotions within you. Like, I want to have a baby. I mean, not me now, right? But let's say you want to have a baby, and it's, when you think about it, it's creating great emotions within you because you can already imagine that little baby in your arms. You can already imagine how you play with it. You can, the moment that you touch it for the first time, that you feel it on you after it's born, all this kind of thing. And that makes it very emotional for you. And because you feel so strongly about it, you're going to do whatever it takes to become pregnant, to have a baby. That's just an example, but it's an example that calls for big emotions. I hope that answered your question. Next question. Yeah, of course. Of course, it's okay to look back to your failure. However, just take the lessons from it, because the failure is not important. It's part of the game of life. But when you look back to it, just take the lessons from that failure and move on towards the next success, because that's what it's all about. It's a learning thing. But when we stay in that failure and we feel sorry about ourselves, or we feel apologetic towards our family that we made a mistake or whatever, that doesn't help anybody. Just, be within yourself, learn the lesson, and move on forward, not backwards. Life is now, in this moment, and only in this moment. In this moment, we can learn. In this moment, we can succeed. We can fail, whatever. But life happens in this moment, because only in this one moment can I change my life. Now I'm in control. I'm not yet in control of tomorrow. That's just the plan. And I'm not yet, or I'm not anymore in control of yesterday. That has happened. Can't do anything about it, but I can learn. Okay, next question. Sometimes never give up thing make us nonsense. I don't understand the question, Kiran. Uh, I don't understand the question. Sorry, I can't answer that. Oh, my little doggy wants to say hi. He wants to play. Oh, but well, what are your goals at the age of 70? Well, my goals are private. I want to go back on stage, obviously, because I love being on stage. I love speaking to audiences live. For me, that's a lot more fun than speaking to a little camera here. What are my secrets of staying enthusiastic at the age of 70 or even past that age? Well, there's only one secret. I'm doing what I love doing. I love doing that. And I keep on doing it. And that's why I'm working. I don't need to work financially. I work because I love this work. I love helping people. I love supporting people. I coach a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's what keeps me alive. It keeps me going. I jumped out of bed this morning because I was excited that I am going to spend this time with you. And that's what keeps me enthusiastic and alive. Yeah. To be alive and to stay alive and to become alive and to become bubbly and, at any age is always doing what you love, moving towards your dreams again and again, because they constantly, they change as you go along, and you've reached one goal and you already have the next one. And, yeah, I don't feel old. I mean, sometimes my bones tell me that I must be older than a lot of other people, but I don't feel old. I do what I love. That's the answer. Next question. Oh, okay. I am the wrong person, Jeffrey, for templates. I don't work with templates. I personally work with intuition most of the time. I personally am not the super organized person that will stick to a 5-year plan. So I think that's a question that you can ask one of the other trainers that has a very strict plan. I don't. I live today, and I make a rough. For instance, I was working on this presentation today, on this workshop, since about 15 minutes before we started. That's how I operate. I know where I'm going. That's very clear. And I have a coach myself that helps me keep on track so that we go step by step. But 5-year plan, sorry, not me that works by 5-year plans. That's good. Well, I gave you a lot of things that are important to do. Number one, you need to know what you want. The 3 secrets to success is what you need to take to heart, right? Know what you want. This is really huge because, I mean, literally, the people that come to my seminars or workshop are people that are spending money for themselves, for their own personal growth, right? So you would think that they know where they want to go with their life. They are not the everyday person in the street. But 95 to 97% of those people that pay to see me, that come to my workshop, come to my seminars, or that pay for my coaching, they don't have a clear vision of their future. They have a vague idea where they might want to go. No clear vision. And that is important. You must know where you're going before you can start moving. And this is what I see all the time. They go a little bit here, a little bit there, or it didn't work, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. That doesn't work. That's why a 5-year plan is not a bad thing. You know, it's just I don't make 5-year plans, but it's a good thing to have a plan. But you need to have a destination. And then you need to have a why. Why do you want to reach that destination? And believe in yourself that you can make it happen. You are the one. You are the one that's perfect for whatever your dream is. And that's all the secrets. Exactly, Jeffrey. This is how I plan a successful life. For instance, like I told you, freedom and independence are my highest values, right? So as soon as I left school, as soon as I finished my education, I left home. Not because I didn't love my parents. I had a beautiful home, but I wanted freedom and independence. That was my main thing. So I didn't think 5 years ahead or anything like that. I wanted independence. So I went from Germany to London to live in London. But I didn't have a work permit. In those days, it was really difficult. And I didn't have a work permit. So for the first 6 months there, I had to work 19 hours a day washing dishes. That is not nice. I had 3 jobs, 6 days a week, and I got £1 per job. Okay, in those days, the pound was worth much more than it is now, but still, it was minimum, and really hard work. I worked from 6 in the morning until 1:30 at night. Why? It was tough. It was horrible. But I didn't mind because I was free. I was independent. And this is how my life went on. So then I got a job in England. Later on, I broke up with my boyfriend and I went back home. I went back to Germany. But I've studied administration, office work. That was not my dream. That was not what gave me freedom and independence. So I moved to Ibiza. This was in the 70s. And was a hippie. You don't need much money to be a hippie, especially then. And I lived on just a couple of marks a day. It was very, very little. But I loved life. I call that a successful life, right? Because I loved it. I was very, very happy. And and then I worked in tourism because I wanted to travel. And that gave me the option to travel for nearly 20 years. I lived in many of the most beautiful spots on the planet, looking after tourists. But for me, that looking after the tourists, that part of the work, that was work. And that wasn't always nice work. But hey, I was free. I was independent. I was seeing the world and I got paid. All good. And it was only after that, when I was in my 40s, that I got seriously into becoming a trainer and a speaker and a coach. That wasn't a long-term plan. The plan was driven by my values, my life plan. And that's how I operate. That's my unique way of operating. How do I remain calm in difficult situations? Well, it depends very much on the situation, right? If it's a dangerous situation, then I really stop and breathe. Because when you are in a threatening situation, then we stop thinking, right? Then our subconscious takes over and we can panic. That doesn't help anybody. That's why when I notice that I start to panic a little bit, which can happen. I have a fear of the dark, for instance. And now there is very few people outside around, so I wouldn't, I don't think I would go by myself anywhere in the evening, in the dark now. When there's a lot of people, I don't mind, but when there's nobody, But normally when I feel that I'm fearful, I stop, I breathe, and I calm myself down through deep breathing and also putting my mind to work. I mean, we all have a mind. We decide what is happening. We decide. And if it's a difficult financial situation, if it's a difficult, like now, is a difficult health situation, I use my experience, my knowledge, my network to find different opinions so that I have a, I can have an educated opinion, right? Because the media here in Germany, at least, is a disaster. They are now, especially in COVID times, they are giving you a very one-sided view, and it's not. What they tell you is quite often a lie. But that's the main media here, be it the newspapers or TV or whatever. Yeah. So calm in difficult situations. Breathe. Okay. Anything else or? Yeah. I do meditate because my mind, I have a very busy mind, is constantly, I'm full of ideas and things I want to do and things I have to do. And yeah, sometimes it gets too much. And I definitely, meditation helps. I do yoga together with meditation sometimes. Somebody said there's no point in meditating. There's a lot of point in meditating. It's very good for your health. It's very good to calm down and start seeing clear, because we have constant chatter in our mind, and most of that chatter is not beneficial for us.
Definitely, ma'am.
Yeah.
We're very grateful to you for your beautiful presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am. This session will really help our audience.
I'm glad.
Again, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time and share your knowledge with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. See you again in another session. Hopefully, see you again in 2021, not 2022. In 2021, we will see you again.
Okay, wonderful. I look forward to that, and thank you very much
But I
for
said,
being
but
here, being such.
I set a plan of 5th Jan 2022 in during your session.
Oh, by the way, I promised them a gift. So under my slides, I had the link to a little report that they can download for free. And also, I want to suggest that people go to 16personalities.com.
Ma'am,
I think
you can post the link in comment
I
section. No
can
problem.
post it. Yeah, I can post it because that is an amazing website. It's totally free of charge also, where you can find out who you are as a personality, because we don't see ourselves very objectively. So that will help you see yourself as a personality, and that will make you understand yourself much better. Okay,
Definitely, definitely.
I will post that in the chat, probably
Yeah,
not
definitely,
today.
ma'am. Because ma'am, participants are the real hero of us, so we can share everything in the comment section, no problem.
Super.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna,
much, ma'am.
well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Dear audience, I would love to thank you for attending today's session. I hope you learned something new and will implement in your life. Thank you so much being with us. If our webinar helps you a little bit, humble request to you that please leave a review recommend section in our page and spread the information with your friend, because your feedback is so much important for us. You know that. And for today's certificate, participants are requested to log in www.eduigp.com, and you can just find today's session webinar on track, which link I already shared in comment section. Now you can check it, and password is also simple. I shared it already 2 times, and will be shared more than 3 times again.
Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye. Thanks for
Yes,
having
ma'am.
me, and see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. And you can verify your certificate from anywhere. Just click on arrow, copy the link, and post it to your browser. Then it will automatically declare that your certificate is original or not. And you can download previous webinar certificate still now. It's open www.eduigp.com, and you can see all previous webinars here. Because today we are going to we are almost finished our 48th webinar. It's a great achievement. 48 number of webinar, and certification system same for all, only only 2021 webinars, 2021 webinar we put code, and rest of the webinars you can download without code. And our next webinar is the science of success, which held on 9th January 2021. See you soon there. Thank you so much.